listening to Sports Radio Detroit.
Welcome to Grave Discussions 2019. I am Barnabas.
And I am Samael.
Welcome to episode 43, Think Outside the Box.
This means two things.
You'll find out in a little bit what that means. But it is the new year now, 2019. 2018 was pretty good for horror, at least I think. We just gave our top 10s. If you haven't listened to that episode, go check out episode 42.
Yeah, we both agreed that Summer of 84 was the horror movie of 2018, and I still stick with that. I haven't seen a better movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I haven't watched everything that came out, but out of everything I've seen, I liked it the most.
I finally got down to watching Mandy.
Yeah.
And I still liked Summer of 84 a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, me too. It was only my number, I don't even, 5, I think. 5 or 6 or something, yeah. So, I mean, I really liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. But, yeah, I mean, it's a new year now. We've got a whole new slate of horror films that are going to be coming out this year. Are there any particularly that you're interested for?
Ooh, the It Chapter 2. That's the one I'm the most excited for this year. And Us.
Yeah, those are my top 2.
Same, yeah.
But there are a lot of really cool ones coming out. We're actually going to be discussing this new year in horror next week. But this week's episode is going to focus on perhaps the first big horror smash hit at the box office, Escape Room. We're going to be giving you our complete review. Well, our initial thoughts, at least. We don't want to spoil it too much.
Yeah, we're not going to get into detail about the plot or anything. We're just going to discuss, the technical aspects of it.
And then later on, after that, we're going to talk about probably still the hypest movie out right now, Bird Box.
Oh, Lord.
Yep. We've got a lot to say about that, I'm sure, just as everybody does, apparently. But we're going to get to that in just a little bit. And, of course, we can't forget to give a shout-out to the people who started it all, Sports Radio Detroit.
Yes. And you can find them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. That's SRD, Sports Radio Detroit, not Detroit Sports Radio. Get that shit right.
So go check them out. We're going to start off, as always, with the news. So a little light, the holidays and everything. But this first article was about something that I was actually really interested in. So there was this little horror movie called One Cut of the Dead. And the whole gimmick behind this movie is that it centers on a film crew who are shooting a really low budget, indie zombie movie. So it is zombies, but it does look really cool. The thing is, this was kind of meta in that way. This film crew then gets attacked by real zombies. And then the whole gimmick is that the whole movie is supposed to be one shot.
How old is this?
This just came out last year.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So there's a bootleg out?
Yeah. So basically what happened was, the movie went through the whole festival circuit and it was really loved in the festival circuit. And then there were they were trying to obtain distribution rights and everything. It is going to be out in the UK. I think it actually already premiered in theaters, but there was a version that popped up on Amazon over the holidays, but apparently it wasn't legitimate. Someone just fucking uploaded it randomly. They had to remove it super fast, and now there's even talks about the movie potentially not even being able to be released in America.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So we don't really know a whole lot more than that, but a lot of people really love this movie. I was super hype about this movie. I actually saw it on Amazon, but I didn't watch it because I was like, okay, I'll save this for the weekend or something. And then I got pulled and I was like, what the fuck happened?
Damn.
Mm-hmm. So some asshole illegally uploaded it, and now it's gone, and now we may not even be able to see it.
I could probably find it. You know me. I can find any movie.
But I mean, this whole article raises the issue of piracy and things like that. And I mean, as a filmmaker, I want to support other filmmakers and especially like, indie horror filmmakers and everything. And I was really ready to watch it on Amazon. I'm glad I didn't now. Because if it was just normally uploaded, I would have been happy. But the fact that someone basically stole the movie and uploaded it without the filmmaker's permission, like, I don't know, that's a low blow to me.
See, I told you I could find it. I just found the Blu-ray on eBay.
Apparently it's on there. But I don't really trust eBay with things like that because there's no like official release of it here in the US as far as I know. So I don't know. But anyway, it's a kind of a shitty situation. If you were excited about the movie, I guess just keep an eye out. I mean, we'll update you guys if there's any more news. As far as I know right now, UK is going to be able to get the movie, but that's all I know. So let's move on. The next article here is about another remake that I actually didn't know about, but was apparently announced prior to me finding out today. But Jacob's Ladder is supposed to be getting a remake.
Yeah, I heard that, like, I think like recently too, before the, you made the outline. Like, I don't know. What do you think is going to happen with that?
Well, so this article is really only mentioning that the movie is delayed, or the release is delayed, and it says later this year because it was apparently supposed to come out I think in like February or something, February 1st, but now it's delayed indefinitely. So
damn.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? But I don't know about the remake. I mean, I don't think it need to be remade. Like, this is one of those horror movies that I feel like you can just kind of leave it alone.
You could, because like it was great. So period. Like, you don't need to touch it.
Yeah.
So was Halloween. I don't know why Rob Zombie ever touched it.
All right, it's 2019 now.
I'm just saying.
I know. No, I understand. I can completely. This one, I mean, this one didn't even like spawn a franchise or anything. Like Halloween, I do understand. It spawned this huge franchise. It's a money-making machine. Jacob's Ladder, not really. Like, probably, some small percentage of the horror community likes this movie a lot, and then like that's about it.
I don't know. I guess they can make it more modern, I guess. Or
yeah.
I think nowadays, especially with like psychological movies like The Babadook and shit, like this one would probably gain popularity, but it not that much,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, the diehard fans would be like, "Whoa, Jacob's Ladder,"
Yeah.
and then they would hate it because they're only fans of the original movie. So,
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, there's that small percentage, and then like pretty much everybody else doesn't even know this movie exists.
yeah,
So I mean, it's different with like Halloween because someone could have been like, "Oh well, I've never seen Halloween before," but they probably know about it. Nobody really knows about Jacob's Ladder that much, like outside of the film or horror community. So
yeah. And if you've never seen Halloween, you're a piece of shit.
agreed. Yeah, but that's what's happening. I guess if we have any more updates on the new release date for the Jacob's Ladder remake, we'll let you guys know. The final article is about Castle Rock. Now, apparently, season 2 production has been set for March of this year, which means that we could very well possibly see it come out later this year, like around fall or something. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited about it because, we recently got through all of Castle Rock, and I like the show. So I'm pretty pumped for season 2.
I just like recently found out who the kid is.
Oh, yeah, in the last episode. Yeah, I
that's-
forgot. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, fuck this. I'm gonna catch. I haven't watched Castle Rock. Like, I didn't finish it, like all of it, like earlier, like when we started watching it. But I was like, fuck it, let me see what's up.
Yeah. It got real weird at the end, but I was still kind of confused.
I thought he was gonna be like Pennywise or some shit.
Yeah.
But no.
No, they took an entirely different approach, but I feel like there's still like a lot of mysteries about the kid.
Oh yeah.
So, but it's supposed to be like an anthology thing. So season 2 is not going to be like the same story, but there are people that still think that the kid is going to be involved somehow, or maybe they'll like make allusions to him or something. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's an interesting thought because, like I said, I feel like there are a lot of things that are still like unsolved in season 1 of the show. So It'd be cool to kind of see some references, but I have no idea what season 2 is going to be about. But they're starting production in March, so we might be able to find out, in just a few months. All right, so let's give you guys some new trailer announcements. There's actually been a ton of trailers coming out recently, so I just picked kind of the 3 that struck me as the most relevant and interesting. The first one is for a show that when I was a kid, I fucking loved it.
Yeah, I did too.
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
They'd have all these fucking people. Look, he has a removable thumb or something, like.
Yeah. Just the craziest shit that like no normal human being can do.
That's these fucking mutants, man.
Yeah, for real. But apparently a new season of the show is coming out, and none other than Bruce Campbell is reported to be starring as like the host.
Good.
He's pretty much my favorite horror actor. I love the guy. I'm excited he's doing it. I'm not excited that there isn't any more Ash vs. Evil Dead, but this show is sweet, and I think he's going to make a great host.
At least we still have Stan Against Evil.
That's true, yeah. That's true.
Which is an amazing fucking show.
Yeah.
I just started the fucking second season.
Nice. I actually did kind of stop watching it during the 3rd season just because, I don't know, there were like a bunch of other shows I wanted to watch, and season 3, after a while, it just kind of got like too over the top, like campy for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sort of. But I don't know. I might still try to finish that season, but they're petitioning for season 4 to like happen because I don't know. Apparently, they may not have like gotten a renewal or something.
Oh shit!
I have no idea. But yeah, if you're a fan of the show, go support that, I guess. But yeah, Ripley's Believe It or Not coming out this year. There's no like set day or month or anything yet. The next trailer, apparently, I don't know what's going on with it, but the Haunting of Sharon Tate, starring none other than Hilary Duff, dropped a trailer and then subsequently like disappeared after like a day or two.
Yeah, we just tried to look for it on YouTube, couldn't find it.
It was going around on social media for a while, and then I actually saw it on YouTube through Bloody Disgusting, like when it dropped, but they removed it for some reason. I don't know why. And honestly, I watched it. You haven't seen it yet. I didn't think it looked very good.
Really?
Yeah, no. It's kind of cool to see Hilary Duff back in something, but the movie just not look good. First of all, what does the title imply to you that this movie's going to be?
Like a paranormal movie.
And it does not look like that at all.
Yeah, I heard Sharon Tate was an actual person. Like,
oh yeah, dude,
there was like a whole bunch of murders and stuff.
Yeah, the Manson murders.
Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, they're already making an entirely other movie about that exact scenario, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, wow.
Which is weird that they're releasing this movie, I guess, but whatever. But it's not a paranormal movie, at least it doesn't seem that way. It just seems like kind of The Strangers, which was inspired, I guess, by the Manson murders. But
they should just take out The Haunting of and then Tate, and then just name the movie Sharon. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know what this whole Haunting of shit is, but it implies a completely different movie. And if you have anybody going into this thinking that they're going to see Sharon Tate fighting off ghosts, you're going to be disappointed. But the movie didn't look that good. Apart from Hilary Duff, the acting looked meh. And it just kind of looked like a typical home invasion movie. But I guess if you want to check it out, it is releasing sometime this year. There's no official date. Finally, we have Horror Noir, a history of black horror. So this is an original documentary that's released exclusively by Shudder, and it's coming February 7th, 2019. And just as the title implies, it's going to be a history of black people in horror movies. And this actually looked really good. I'm kind of excited about this one.
Yeah, I always love horror documentaries. I love the Freddy documentary, the Jason one, the Michael one. And now we just have one about black people in horror. So I'm interested in seeing like the evolution of like the African American character in horror movies, and like how it changed, like they said in the trailer, from white people playing black people to like black people becoming like the heroes of these movies, like the dude from Get Out, or as you mentioned, the guy from Night of the Living Dead, and also Busta Rhymes from Halloween Resurrection.
No, that is true. They were also alluding to like, when I guess in the 80s and stuff, like when black people would always die first in slasher movies and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool, I think, to see that in documentary form with guests such as Tony Todd, Jordan Peele, and numerous other ones. I didn't recognize a few of them, but there are a lot of stars that are going to be interviewed in this. So I'm really excited about that. They're going to be talking about like Night of the Living Dead, Blackula, all those blaxploitation movies, stuff like that. There was a scene from Scream in it as well.
Oh yeah, the second one.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pumped for this. And this is like a topic that is not actually discussed like super often. You know, usually it's just like in joking when you talk about, you know, black people dying first or whatever, or like actually running away from the killers and, you know, shit like that. But there hasn't really been like a ton of stuff about like black people in horror movies.
No, there hasn't, and there needs to be.
Yeah. So
because I mean, I feel like that realm is kind of like unexplored. Like you said, you hear people talk about it. Like there's never actually been like a sit down and a discussion about it. Like, hey, the fuck is up with this? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you know, as white men, I mean, we don't really know like like intimately that subject either. So I mean, yeah, I'm pumped to watch it. I want to see all the interviews with everybody, especially Tony Todd and Jordan Peele.
Yeah, honestly,
so, I'm pumped.
I haven't heard from Tony Todd in a minute. I think the most recent movie I saw him in was Hatchet.
Yeah, he's been in like some other low key like indie stuff, I think, but Hatchet was like the last big thing I think he was in.
Yeah, and
he actually did express some interest in being part of Jordan Peele's Candyman in some way, but I don't think he's going to be playing.
He needs to make a cameo, like you know, like just like accidentally run into Candyman and be like, "Huh, well, you look familiar." Just walk away. I wanted to like in like the new Halloween movie, like you know, I wish like Dick Warlock, the second Michael Myers. Would have made a cameo, like he walked by Myers and Myers didn't kill him, and Dick Warlock looked at him and, gee, that's a nice mask. I had one just like that. Just walked away, you know?
Yeah.
Just would have been cool.
Yeah, I think that would have been cool too, or even just like confronting the protagonist or something. I don't know, some kind of like Stan Lee style cameo or something. That'd be cool. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'm excited to watch it. February 7th. If you have Shudder, which you should if you're a horror fan, then you'll be able to check it out. So, all right, let's get into the meat of the show here, why don't we? In the first segment of the episode, The Cult Corner. So this week's Cult Corner is going to be related to the last holiday that we had, celebrating, you know, ringing in 2019. We're going to be talking about New Year's Evil.
Evil.
That was hilarious,
dude. That honestly, like, I watched this shit in 6th grade when they used to have it on FearNet. I was watching New Year's Evil and fucking Black Christmas and all those old slashers. And this one though, like, I remember this one specifically because of their evil.
Yeah. Dude, that guy was pretty weird.
I like that voice changer. It seemed pretty ahead of its fucking time.
Yeah.
No, I guess they did it before Scream.
Yeah, there was actually a reference when they like first heard his voice with the modulator or whatever, and they made a reference to like calling him the Phantom, but it wouldn't be the Phantom that you're thinking of. It'd be the Phantom of the Paradise, the Brian De Palma movie, and the guy like uses a voice changer, and he kind of sounds similar to that. He's just not like so, you know, goofy with it.
Yeah.
But that was hilarious. So, this movie came out in 1980, directed by Emmett Alston.
This is when the slasher era first like sparked, you know? Yeah. Like this is when it got moving.
Yeah. I feel like this one was like pretty low key though, because I knew about this movie, but I never really like watched it. And I don't see it talked about a ton.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting movie. I mean, it's definitely got the 80s vibe to it, but it's not really like your typical slasher movie.
It is not.
And I don't want to like give away too much if you haven't seen it, but I just think like the whole structure of like the killer's like story is very interesting because he's like isn't masked until the end. And
the thing is he's masked, but you don't know who he is in relation to like
the
rest of the fucking characters.
But you see his face like really early on into the movie, so like you have a face to the killer. And then, later on at the end, there is a pretty nice twist that reveals who he actually is and why he's doing what he's doing. But yeah, essentially this one lady who's like a she's not like a talk show host, but she hosts like these live events with like rock music and stuff. And she gets these weird calls on New Year's Eve. Yeah, and this guy's like, I'm gonna kill everyone close to you and stuff like that, you know. So she calls the police and everything, and there's this whole investigation. And really the rest of the movie is just like you following the killer as he like hunts people down at every stroke of midnight. So it's an interesting premise, actually.
Still hasn't been copied or replicated or anything.
Yeah, not really, but this movie was definitely riding on the whole like success of Halloween and the whole holiday slasher type thing.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was an interesting concept. I think the whole like story of the killer was pretty interesting. I mean, what else did you like about it?
I just liked like it was super 80s. Like right off the bat, you see with those like rocker douchebags being assholes to that security guard, and like everyone's listening to rock and roll, and everyone's a fucking probably a cokehead. You know, like it's just the 80s vibes from that movie, man. Like, I thought the kills were, you know, simple. The very first few, I think they didn't really show much. You know, it didn't show like the knife going into the body or the neck and blood squirting out. It was just, I like the subtlety of the first few kills, and then the dialogue was just kind of you kind of see that there's something wrong with the chick's son right off the bat, because he's just wearing pantyhose on his head and like putting lipstick on himself while wearing panty or whatever the fuck he was doing.
Yeah,
you know, and you're like, huh.
Well, I thought that he was going to play a bigger role than he kind of ended up playing, just because they placed so much emphasis on him at the beginning and made him like appear weird as shit, which he was.
He was in a few other 80s horror movies too. Like he was in Blood Rage. Remember that one movie I told you about where like he killed someone when he was a kid or something, and like,
oh, that was the same actor?
Yeah, it was him. And like they sent away his twin brother, you know, even though he did the murders because he blamed his brother or whatnot.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy was cool, but I don't think his character was really that interesting. The kills were like kind of iffy to me because like on one hand I felt like they were kind of more realistic, but at the same time for like a slasher movie I didn't think they were very like innovative or anything like that.
Oh no, they were just plain kills, you know, simplicity, and I don't know, I don't like too much gore, you know, like I like the subtlety that Halloween had and Black Christmas, and even Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, didn't even have that much gore. It was just super subtle.
But I mean, you know, these kills still in those movies are like pretty iconic.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't really say that was the case too much with this one. The first kill I thought was actually pretty good. Well, not the shower, but the nurse one or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that was pretty all right. For the most part, I didn't really care about that too much. I was kind of more invested in like the actual story and who the character was. So I thought that did that pretty well. The cinematography and the score for me wasn't really anything like too innovative or memorable, but I think the big drawing factor of this movie is the whole premise.
Yeah. I think the fact that they saved, like, because we didn't know the motive at all, you know, we just know that he was just, you know, killing women at the stroke of midnight, like in every time zone or whatever the hell he was doing. But, you know, when you kind of get to the end and you figure out why he's killing people, you're just like, really? You know, like...
Yeah. I'll say this, like, I don't think the movie had that many really impactful moments.
No, it didn't.
You know, because, I mean, with the reveal, even the reveal of, like, who the killer was very just, like, it was kind of like just a smooth transition, and then you just kind of realize it, and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, it was funny as hell. Richard, what are you doing here?
Yeah. It was interesting because like I didn't care about it, but then again I thought it was kind of slick how they did it.
That's what I thought. So that's what I told you to watch out for. I was like, wait till the end.
Yeah. So I mean that was definitely a redeeming factor, but I don't know if a lot of other moments in the movie had that much oomph, but I totally get why it has the status that it does.
Oh yeah.
I think I read in like one article that this is like the perfect kind of just like late night movie.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that's how I watched it. I mean, I was 11 years old. I was on winter break, you know, from Ms. Jenkins' class, and it was like around Christmas time, and I had like that's when I had just gotten Comcast digital cable when they had FearNet, and I was like New Year's Evil, and I read it, and I was like, fuck it, let's watch it. It was a free movie on FearNet.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I don't know, like I liked it a lot better, but like nowadays I like the slashers where there's like an actual killer guys, you know, like like a masked assailant or something like that, and there's not that many shots of him, and like the kills are like out of the blue, they scare the shit out of you, you know. So
yeah, I mean, this movie isn't like a giallo, but almost kind of, in the sense that it's really rooted to like just reality, kind of.
yeah,
You know, aside from the dude just being fucking weird, but but other than that, I mean, yeah, pretty much, you know, because you can't really look at something like Halloween or Friday the 13th and say that too much, because there's like, you know, a 7-foot tall guy just murdering people in like a Captain Kirk mask or whatever the fuck, you know, or like Freddy even. So, but this movie was not that at all. It was very much like, you know, if it didn't have the horror elements, this would have just been like kind of a drama.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like this like family shit going on with like the main characters and
Which
everything.
was unnecessary. I would have took out that whole family thing just for like more like that's a mystique to the movie. I mean, I guess we didn't know who the killer was, but like at least in relation to the other characters, but we knew who he was, you know, like it's kind of at least have like I don't know if you ever saw Sorority House Massacre. That was a great fucking slasher.
Yeah.
So was, you know, Slumber Party Massacre and all these other massacre movies. Like, I would say did it better than this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it, and you know, I don't want to seem like we're just like shitting on this movie.
No, I like it.
I do like it. I mean, it's definitely not like one of the better slashers to me, but
no,
it's just kind of like that low key, cool slasher movie with like an interesting premise. You know,
and like a nice twist at the end.
Yeah, and you know, I thought like the acting was good.
Yeah, there wasn't like, hey, what are you doing? Like, you know, like from fucking Killjoy, like.
Yeah, and like the writing was questionable, just kind of like in the scope of things, but it wasn't bad. I didn't think, you know, like it flowed pretty nicely. So overall, I mean, it was a decent movie, and I think the wacky premise is definitely what gives it the kind of cult status it has. But
oh yeah, and this one's definitely a cheeseball classic.
Yeah, there's a lot of like weird moments, like at the very end. I'm not gonna spoil what happens, but like the killer gives this, like, he recites this shit from apparently like Hamlet or something, and it just it was ridiculous. I was laughing because I'm like, I don't understand why he just said that.
Hey, crazy people, bro, you can't predict them.
That's true. But yeah, those are my thoughts on New Year's Evil. I mean, I think it definitely deserves the cult status for being what it is, but it's not my favorite slasher movie, but I think it's a good late night watch.
No, it's like in the same category as like, you remember Savage Weekend? Like that, you know?
Yeah, kind of.
It's just something you put on.
Yeah.
It's no tourist trap though.
No. I was gonna say I like this movie better than I liked Savage Weekend, actually, but definitely not better than Tourist Trap.
Yeah, Savage Weekend just had it had a similar premise, you know, dad and angry and killing, you know, whatnot, but this just had more going on consistently. Savage Weekend was just like, all right, we're waiting.
Yeah.
we're waiting. Hey, look, a kill. Like,
yeah, exactly. And I mean, despite all the fucking, you know, psychically controlled dolls and shit in Tourist Trap, I felt like it was just more interesting of a movie in general. But,
I agree, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's New Year's Evil. If you have checked this one out, let us know what you think. I feel like it's still pretty underlooked. Not a lot of people know about it, but it is on Amazon Prime. If you have it, it's free with the subscription. So go check it out if you're looking for like a cool, interesting little late night slasher movie.
Yes.
But we're going to move on now to our main segment. Before we do that, let's hear a couple words from some other awesome shows on the Sports Radio Detroit Network.
All right, Fred. So the people at Sports Radio Detroit want us to cut a promo for Parsons and Slow.
Want them to cut me a check for Parsons and Slow.
Well, I've Googled some keywords, and I'm going to put them here in a promo. So here it goes. Ready, Fred?
Yeah, analytics away.
Parsons and Slow. We have the content consumers crave. Listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, anywhere else that podcasts are available, or we'll kill you. We won't really kill you. Just listen to our podcast, brand new, every Friday on Sports Radio Detroit.
Okay, I'm ready to do the promo.
Oh, that was it.
Because I feel like a salad tossing might feel good.
What? Out of Bounds Detroit podcast. Tuesday morning and Friday mornings here on SportsRadioDetroit.com.
We just saw the newest 2019 horror movie, Escape Room.
Yes, we sure as fuck did.
Now, I think it's safe to say that this is the first big horror hit of the year.
Oh yeah, and I was gonna say, spoiler alert, at least toward my feelings on it. I'm glad that the first horror movie I watched that came out this year wasn't shit.
Yeah.
This was not a bad movie.
No, I didn't think so at all. So I think for the most part, everybody knows this is a PG-13 horror movie. And there's been a lot of criticism lately on, making movies PG-13. And I'm going to say right off the bat, I wish this movie was rated R.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was PG-13.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really give it off, because there's still some, not like gory parts, but, there's some brutal parts in this movie. But there isn't really like any excess gore or any nudity or anything like that, but or even really any like swearing or anything. But it is PG-13. I do wish it was rated R because I think the concept lends itself to just being as creative as you possibly can.
Oh yeah,
and that leads to cooler like gory deaths and stuff. So I wish that they were able to take more advantage of that, but it was still a fun movie.
it was a fun movie. Like that's the thing that's been missing from like a lot of movies lately. I want to say was like the fun factor and like they like nowadays they focus on making movies more complicated and allegorical rather than enjoyable. It's like nowadays critics are fucking pieces of shit. Like if your movie isn't like a giant metaphor, then it gets tore up. Like like, and if there isn't like a character suffering from PTSD and internal struggles, like just show me a fucking horror film, and that's what this was.
Yeah, basically. So I will say there are a lot of comparisons to this movie, and this is one of my criticisms. I'll get into this later, but this movie was kind of a mixture of a number of movies: Saw, The Belko Experiment, Cube. It had elements of all that stuff. I mean, that's kind of what escape rooms are, I guess. It's just this one big puzzle as you go through these different rooms and stuff. But this movie, of course, takes a different spin on it because the players in this escape room are, they do not know that what they're being subjected to is like some real horrific shit. Like they can die.
And they're all like trauma survivors.
Yeah. As you find out, gradually through the movie. So there's some Final Destination kind of vibes, But yeah, basically these people get together. They're invited to this random, mysterious escape room experience. And then as they like slowly go through it, they start realizing that all the rooms are like trapped in such a way to where like if they don't figure something out in time, like they could die.
One of my problems with this movie was that when they would solve these mysteries, like they would find the solution like last second, and it would be something that just popped up, and they'd be like, "Oh, look here." They didn't give the audience a chance to try to figure out what the fuck was going on, and that's what I didn't like.
Yeah,
I mean, like the puzzles weren't that like interesting, Like I like being able to like put pieces together, and this movie didn't let you do that. That's what I didn't like.
Yeah, so I'll say this. Basically, I agree because what they did essentially was it was kind of how it was written, but they made all the solutions to the rooms like just random shit that one specific character would be able to solve because it relates to their life somehow, like their past.
Yeah.
And that's basically all the solutions were. So I completely agree. The actual puzzles weren't tremendously interesting. It was really all just about like their personal struggle in their story.
Exactly.
So I kind of wish that it was like more of a balance of that and just like actual like, you know, just random puzzles to these rooms, because I feel like that would have introduced, I don't know, just more suspense, I think.
Yeah, I felt like there wasn't too much suspense. Like when one of the characters was gonna get it, you know, fucked by the room, like you kind of knew, like kind of spoiler alert, but I'm not gonna mention her name. Like when that bitch just like fucking dropped.
Yeah.
Like you knew she was fucked because like she was the first one to go up and start climbing and trying to look for shit. You're like, oh, this is her room, you know? And then you're like, she's not going to make it though. Like,
yeah. Yeah. It was just a lot of like really dramatic, just things put in, I feel like, to progress the story, you know, almost kind of cheaply, you know, just those like writing decisions to where it's like, all right, let's just do this to advance the story, but not really do anything very interesting or even that makes sense, you know? So
even the ending, I was just unsatisfied with the ending.
yeah, kind of. The ending was definitely setting up for a sequel, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I feel like there was just a lot of. I'm trying to look for the right words to say this, but just a lot of stuff that was shoehorned in just to move the story along, basically.
Yeah.
You know, just take the easy way out, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So to me, that's kind of lazy writing, but luckily, you know, the good part is that, yes, it was a fun movie. The visuals were all pretty cool. I mean, I think the way that all the rooms were constructed was awesome, even if the puzzle solutions were, you know, not that great.
Yeah.
Or a little unsatisfying. But yeah, it was cool. I mean, the movie was shot well. I thought the acting was great. I really love the actual cast that they have. We have Deborah Ann Woll from True Blood fame, Tyler Labine, who was one of the hillbillies in Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That was the fat guy, the dad.
Yeah,
guy.
the one with the heart problems.
Yeah, he was in Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Hilarious guy.
I knew he looked fucking. I still gotta watch that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie, dude. Nick Dodani, who plays Zahid in Atypical. He's in this.
Yeah, that's the first dude I noticed.
Yeah, he's hilarious as well. I'm glad he was in this. Logan Miller, who plays Ben. There's a good cast list. Jay Ellis, who plays Jason Walker, the kinda antagonist of the movie. I thought he did great. He had probably the best performance, in my opinion.
I liked that one chick, the quiet one.
Yeah, Taylor Russell, who plays Zoe.
Yeah, I really liked Zoe.
Yeah, she was good. I actually liked her as the main protagonist, which is basically what she becomes. But there's something, I don't want to spoil it too much, but you know, she kind of goes through a change in the film, as pretty much all the characters do. But for some reason, it felt like an awkward change to me. You know, like an awkward evolution of her character.
Yeah, she went from being the quiet one to I got it, and like I solved everything.
Yeah, in like a second. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess when you're trying to survive in like a situation like that, it's, you know, that can kind of take over you. But it still felt kind of forced to me. I didn't know if I liked that very much. So there's a lot of just kind of holes in the writing to me, which is why I think knocks off like a decent amount of my like final score of this movie. But overall, I thought it was done well. And I mean, it made $18.2 million against a budget of $9 million. So this movie is a huge success.
Oh yeah, they doubled their fucking budget. So.
So basically, there was an article in Bloody Disgusting talking about this film and the start of a potential franchise. So basically, without giving away what happens in the ending, it does set up for a sequel potentially. Now, I'd like to know like your thoughts on a sequel or a potential franchise to this.
It's just gonna become like Saw. Like after I liked Saw 1 through 3.
Yeah.
Like those were like good. After that, it was just like, okay, I get it. There's a guy and now he's not there anymore and he had someone else take over the legacy. And then Jigsaw was kind of like a refresher for me. So I don't know. As far as Escape Room, yeah, let's do it. Fuck it. Let's see.
My whole thing is just, you know, 2-3 movies in total, okay. But this is basically Diet Saw, you know.
It is.
And as a PG-13 movie, I mean, you know, like I said, it's fun, but as a PG-13 horror film and as something with like kind of a restrictive premise to it, you know, I just don't know about like a whole franchise, like 2-3 movies max, just to get to like the deep, parts of the story, because there's this whole like shadowy organization thing behind this,
Yeah.
maybe to get to know more about that, but I don't know. It just already.
I think that would kind of ruin the mystique of it. Like,
yeah, but what else are they gonna do? Like, they're just gonna throw another group of people into like another set of escape rooms. Okay,
and then just have
that'd be cool, I guess, for another movie if they have some pretty innovative ones. But I mean, what else are they gonna do?
fucking crossover. Like in the next one, we find out who's behind it. And we see, hello, Bill. For years you've been taking people's lives. Like, it's fucking John from Saw.
I mean, if they made it rated R, I'd fucking watch it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably watch the sequel if it comes out anyway.
Yeah. I just hope that they either do that or they, progress with the story of the survivors of the first movie. I'm not going to tell who they are, but I mean, I think that that's the more like natural plot for a sequel, but I just don't want it to become something stupid like, it's them and they've got like laser guns and they start trapping people in other escape rooms or some bullshit like that.
No, I don't want that.
I don't know. I feel like this could have been a cool just one-shot movie. It probably will become a franchise. So as long as they keep being creative with it, I think it's going to be all right. But I think this is something that's going to like lose its luster kind of fast.
I think so, just like Saw did, like I said.
Yeah. But the good thing about Saw, I think, is that throughout most of it, it was at least kind of an interesting story.
Oh, yeah.
Like just piecing everything together and all the like twists and surprise reveals and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's going to be the case with Escape Room, so I'm kind of iffy on it, but
we'll see. Fuck it. I mean, why not? Just give us another one, and this one we'll probably talk shit about it.
Yeah. So overall, I did like the movie. I thought it was a pretty good theater experience, but I think this is one that you can wait for, like on Blu-ray or something. I don't think you like absolutely have to go see it.
No, you don't. You don't have to.
Yeah.
It was fun, but it wasn't like a groundbreaking fucking horror movie. Like,
yeah,
this has been done before.
Yeah, like you could probably skip a week and then like maybe go see it or just wait. But that said, it was a huge hit. It's the first big horror hit of 2019. So with its success, I mean, I think that we are still seeing evidence that horror is still continuing to grow and be big. So
oh yeah.
That's a huge thing for me. But I mean, if I had to give a final score for this movie, I would probably give it, I don't know, 3 out of 5, maybe 2.5 out of 5. It was good, but it wasn't like really that innovative or anything.
I was gonna say, like, for me, out of 10, I'd give it like I'd be more generous if it was out of 10, probably like 6 out of 10.
Okay, sure, yeah, yeah, probably 60%, the same.
Yeah.
Probably the same, maybe 6.5. I mean, it wasn't like bad or anything, but it's not really anything that we haven't seen before. And I think it's cool for like a one-time watch. And if you watch it again, then it's like something to put on in the background,
Yeah, you're not going to want to watch this movie more than once, honestly.
Yeah. Then
it's not like Saw.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Saw, but it's not as good as Saw.
But there aren't really that many like little intricate, interesting details that you can like find in the background of this movie or anything like that. Saw, yeah, kind of, because everything kind of connects together, but I don't really think that this is going to be the case. I think if this does jump into a franchise, it's going to be something very similar to Cube, where it's just like kind of the same thing every movie, but they start digging more into like the whole secret organization or whatever. I don't know. I guess we'll see about it. Do you have anything else you want to say about Escape Room?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a fun movie. Like, if you want to go like with a chick to the movie theater, this is your movie. Like, go, watch it, go have fun after. But this is one of those hey, fuck it, let's go watch it movies. Like, it's not like,
yeah,
yo, I've been waiting for this for so long. Like, no.
Yeah, this isn't gonna scare you. I mean, it might put you at the edge of your seat. It's got its suspenseful moments, but it's not really scary.
No, it's not scary. It's more of like a mystery kind of thriller.
Yeah, kind of a thrill ride with some puzzles. kind of, but nothing really that intricate.
No, it's pretty much it's an average movie. Let's be real.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty fair. So that's what we think about Escape Room. Let us know what your guys' thoughts are on it if you have seen it. I will say, though, one last thing real quick. The director, Adam Robitel, I think he's got a fantastic future ahead of him. I actually didn't know this, but this is the same director who did The Taking of Deborah Logan.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and then he did something else as well, like his sophomore movie was something pretty popular as well. But I hope nothing but the best for the guy. Congratulations on your success with Escape Room. But right now we're going to shift gears into our very last segment of the episode, and it is the chopping block. So this week's chopping block is about none other than Bird Box.
Dun, dun, dun.
The last real big horror movie story of 2018, Bird Box, dropped on Netflix at like the end of December, and it's been pretty much all I've been seeing on social media.
Yeah, all the memes.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that's all I've really been seeing is memes.
Yeah. For some reason, this movie took like Facebook especially by storm, and I've been seeing some stuff on Instagram and Twitter and shit too, but Facebook in particular, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about Bird Box.
That's only because people like to... Honestly, they just like found like the next thing to like ride the wave, and
Yeah.
this was it.
Yeah, it was. Sandra Bullock. I mean, we talked about the movie, but even at the time, like where we talked about the trailer and stuff, there wasn't that much chatter about it. But it is Netflix, and they have an awesome marketing team. So the marketing for this movie was huge, and as soon as it came out, a lot of people talking about it. So Sandra Bullock plays this lady in a post-apocalyptic version of Earth where there are these creatures that basically, if you look at them, you see like your worst fear, and then you just want to commit suicide.
Yeah.
So there are like tons of people dying, and she has to like try to escape and like find refuge out in the world. So she has to wear a blindfold in order to survive, basically, because she can't look at anything or else risk killing herself. And she's got these two kids with her. So the movie kind of has these like scenes that jump between each other, or these two storylines that jump between each other. And one is like Sandra Bullock and the two kids in the future after everything has happened. And then the other storyline is kind of like a flashback to like when it's happening.
Yeah, like every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Not every 5 minutes, but like every 20 minutes, you get to see what Sandra Bullock is doing with the kids. And then as the movie progresses, you get to see how she got to that point in time. And let me start this off by saying this is not a horror movie.
Well, it is a horror movie. It is. It is. Because even though you can't see these creatures, there are still monsters in this movie. And if that were happening in real life, it would be a scary situation, I think. I mean, this movie is basically A Quiet Place, just, you can't talk, or you can talk in Bird Box, but you can't look. It's basically the inverse.
Yeah.
I think it's a horror movie. I mean, it's more of a drama than anything, just because of how the movie is done. But it is kind of a horror movie.
Kind of. Let me rephrase that. It's a horror movie, but it's not scary.
Yeah. Which it doesn't have to be a horror movie, but
It's not atmospheric at all.
yeah.
That's what was missing. Like the whole the vibe wasn't like a creepy one.
Yeah.
It was just like, hey, we're in it's like some Walking Dead type shit,
Mm-hmm.
That's what I kind of didn't like.
Yeah.
It's like The Walking Dead. That's all that this is.
It's definitely got that kind of atmosphere. Yeah. It's
Sandra Bullock did a great job though. Amazing actress. One of my favorites. Last movie I saw with her was The Heat with her and Melissa McCarthy, and I love that film. I love Sandra Bullock. I loved her since I was like a little kid. Like she's just I would say Sandra Bullock is my top 5 like favorite actresses, and she did a great job in this. When she spoiler alert, because you should have seen this fucking movie already. You kind of see like this internal struggle when she like tells the kids that one of them has to look, and then like her son offers to look, and then her adopted daughter or whatever, girl. There, I'll just now we could just be like boy, girl. Oh, yeah, so boy was like, yeah, I'll look, and then her, that being her son, she's like, no, I get to choose who looks, and then you kind of think she's gonna be all selfish and be like, let's make the other person's kid look, and then she's like, no, I can't do it. I kind of like that was probably my favorite part of the movie.
I thought that was hilarious.
That little internal struggle, or when that fucking crazy dude, like they let him in and like he started making everyone look outside. That was probably like the climax of the movie, because that's when shit changed. That's your stereotypical, even Walking Dead. Hey, what could go wrong? Let's let this guy in. And then when you let him, oh no, he's crazy. Like
the group dynamic was very typical, because you had that one person that's just very like angelic and innocent. They're like, well, we should help everybody, and then it leads to their downfall.
And you get the only smart person. Fuck that guy. I can't believe they didn't listen to him.
Yeah, bro, John Malkovich.
Yeah, they should have listened to John Malkovich.
Yeah. I mean, he did play like the asshole character, but everybody's right. Like the
asshole characters are usually right.
Yeah.
He was like this movie's Shane from The Walking Dead, Like, he would like go to extremes to protect the group though, like if he didn't like
because he is an asshole kind of, but he's intelligent. He knows that by surrounding himself with competent people that it'll help him survive too. But as soon as you start introducing like all these random strangers that you don't know, you don't know their capabilities, then it can lead to problems, and he's trying to avoid that, and I completely understand that. But yeah, that whole group dynamic did really kind of remind me of The Walking Dead. You have all these like, you have like the leader, played by Trevante Rhodes, and then you have like that weird knowledgeable guy, the pudgy black guy.
Yeah.
Lil Rel Howery as Charlie, just has this like weird random knowledge that somehow relates to the situation and shit. And there's like the kids, it's that whole like typical group dynamic that we've seen.
Yeah, it's that apocalyptic group dynamic.
Yeah, like every post-apocalyptic horror movie ever, that's like the exact characters that are in it.
Oh yeah, there's never just like 10 assholes. Nah, we ain't letting nobody in. Fuck you. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there like that during the apocalypse, but this focuses on the one group that's like, hey, maybe we should help people.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
I just want to see some like post-apocalyptic horror movie where it's just about like some completely random group of people, like just like 6 cyber goth ravers or something,
There's like a Chinese guy, there's a goth, there's like a CEO of a company, he's just with them. There's like a little kid with like one arm. There's like what else can we have? There's like 3 white dudes from like the Ku Klux Klan, so it's just like awkward the whole time, like a realistic dynamic, because like if you run into people during an apocalypse, you wouldn't just be like, okay, here's the smart guy, this is the angry. You wouldn't just find one of each fucking personality type. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but they had to do it for the ease of the story, I guess. And Sandra Bullock plays like the tough badass, like
she's a
woman,
She's the equivalent, not Michonne from The Walking Dead. She's Daryl.
I was gonna say like Andrea, but
she's Daryl for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Because she's like the fucking badass out of everyone. So
yeah, I mean, I thought her character was kind of cool because she had that whole dynamic of like she was pregnant, but she didn't really want to be like a mom, and stuff like that. So I thought her character was pretty cool. The other characters were very kind of typical, but
I just didn't know. I didn't like that. Your boy and your girl.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
I guess like because she didn't want them to get used to being people because they were gonna die or whatever.
That was the whole implication. But even then, I was like, man, this whole ass person just came out of your vagina. Just at least you could like give him a name,
Boy. Gosh, I love you so much, boy.
No, come here, boy. Like, come on, man.
And she ended up naming the girl Olivia. Mm-hmm. I forgot what she named the boy though.
I think she named him after like her man.
Oh yeah,
or whatever. Tom.
Yeah, the Rick of their.
Yeah, the Rick.
His name was Tom.
Yeah.
Really, they named the black guy Tom.
I suppose.
That's kind of, like Uncle Tom. That's kind of like.
Oh.
That's like, man. I think they did that shit on purpose. I swear, because he's like the protagonist, and like, he's like, you know, they didn't give him like the stereotypical personality that they try to give all black people in movies, you know, but they still called him Tom. Like,
yeah,
I felt like that was fucked up. Like, I just realized that's fucked up. Fuck you guys.
I didn't think about that until you said it. So yeah,
Fuck you guys. Fuck you, Bird Box.
yeah. And also, I don't know about like the whole. I don't want to give too much away, but there's a relationship in this movie, and I don't know that I completely believe it, but whatever.
Which relationship?
Between the two main characters.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like they didn't even bond that much.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, hey, you're here.
I'm here.
You're a woman.
Yeah.
I'm a man.
That's what it seemed like. They
I
didn't.
mean, I guess in the apocalypse, then that's what happens. But
I mean, yeah, if you're stuck in an apocalyptic situation and like you're like the dude of the group and there's like a chick in the group, I mean, people have needs. You're gonna do nasty things.
gotta repopulate, right? I guess.
Yep, just the two of you. The whole world, just you
I
two.
don't know, but yeah, there is definitely. I mean, I thought that the premise to this was good. This is actually adaptation of a novel by Josh Mallerman, who is a Michigan native from Ferndale.
Yeah.
Yep. So represent big props to Josh Mallerman. Come on the show. We'd love to talk to you.
That would be dope.
That would be dope.
I mean, we're like not too far away from you,
I mean,
bro.
his life is probably like never going to be like okay again because he's probably just going to be on the road all the time now.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be out there getting super praise.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, probably writing more stuff that gets, made into movies, which, by all means, do it. But Bird Box as a movie itself, you have to watch it just because I think it's the hot thing now. It also, we said this, I think, when we were watching it too. It was a pretty good movie.
It was a good movie.
Yeah. But as a horror movie,
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would say it. Okay, it's a horror movie, but it's not my kind of horror. Like,
yeah.
I need atmosphere. I need freaky vibes. I need a lot more suspense than what this offered me. I also need cheese.
Yeah.
Like if sometimes.
So yeah, I mean, it depends.
Most
on
of the
movie,
time,
but-
there wasn't that much cheese in this film.
No.
We needed more. I didn't like the score.
Yeah, the score just felt very like blockbuster drama to me.
Yeah, honestly, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like I was watching fucking Narnia, like with this fucking score.
Yeah.
Good cinematography.
Mhm.
I wish we would have seen the monster or the spirit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the whole thing was that you weren't supposed to see it, and if you saw the actual monster that they were going to go for originally, like the makeup, it looked stupid as fuck.
Did it?
Yeah, it was just like a giant man baby with like weird skin. It looked stupid, which I'm sure was not, which was not the intent of Josh Mallerman's original idea. I'm sure. So I am kind of glad that they didn't show it, but at the same time, the way that they portrayed these creatures, I think, was pretty dumb.
Leaves.
Yeah, it was just like some swirling. That was probably my least favorite thing about the movie. I don't care if you don't show it, but you can do that in other ways to where it's like actually suspenseful or scary,
Like they've had movies where they didn't show like the
Yeah.
antagonist, you know?
Evil Dead, perfect example.
Yeah.
The fucking, floating fast camera, the POV camera. Like
Yeah,
you
and-
could do something like that.
And they should have, because a lot of movies took that too. Like
Mhm.
look at Night of the Demons. That did the exact same thing as Evil Dead, and
Yeah.
that shit worked. You didn't see the entity itself, but you saw it overtake people, like we saw in Bird Box. But we just didn't see. Bird Box is like a Lifetime movie combined with the Evil Dead, combined with like A Quiet Place, combined with that M. Night Shyamalan movie that was just. The Happening
The
or
Happening,
whatever
yeah.
the fuck it
I was
was.
gonna say, but I think all those movies are better than Bird Box, but not The Happening. The Happening sucked.
Yeah, The Happening was bad. Yeah, Quiet Place was definitely better than Bird Box.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I think Bird Box was a pretty okay movie, but as a horror movie, it was missing a lot.
My least favorite thing about Bird Box is it was cliche. Let's not pretend it
Yeah.
wasn't fucking cliche.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't any really innovative stuff in like the screenplay or anything.
Oh, and guess what? They also had to have the human antagonists. Oh, look, we all have guns and we're gonna
Yeah.
and then you have like the for some reason every fucking guy that's the main character in these fucking films always wants to just sacrifice himself.
Yeah. They have to be the dramatic hero because otherwise you're not going to have anything to cry over. I don't know.
How about cry because the world's falling apart, not because this one fucking guy?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was going to say, I think this movie is horror in like pretty much premise alone, honestly. I mean, I think it's missing a lot of those other elements. Again, I haven't read the book, so I don't really know how the book is in terms of like being scary or being tense or anything like that. But I think they could have done a lot of things different with this movie to make it more suspenseful or
I'm sure
scarier.
the book is like way more like interesting and
Yeah.
a lot better because
Well-
like you leave it all up to the imagination. And
Exactly.
I'm sure my brain can come up with more fucked up scenarios than, just some director.
Yeah. And I mean, plus with this like entire premise, I think that just in written format, like I don't know, it just invites more creativity, like, and you can just kind of get into it more, it doesn't explain exactly what's happening. And you don't just see this pathetic, dance of leaves and shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this in like a visual format, I don't know. To me, it just doesn't work. If they use some like different camera angles or something, maybe, but
Yeah, I felt like, here's one thing I want to say to directors of horror. Stop making every fucking horror movie a soap opera.
yeah.
Walking Dead turned into a fucking soap opera. This was a fucking soap opera.
Yeah, this didn't really need to be either because it was like a normal 2-hour long movie.
Like I'm down for apocalyptic movies, whether it be, even though I'm sick of them, zombies
Yeah.
and all that stuff, but A Quiet Place did a better job than this. And I don't know, I felt Bird Box was just really lacking in like the scariness,
Yeah.
like it was just way too soap opera-ish, man. That just really bothers me about movies nowadays. Is there, like, dude, it's a horror movie. It's already dramatic. You don't need to make it into like a Lifetime movie.
Yeah. I kind of want to, like, I think to go off of that, the whole, like, interjecting the flashback and like what's happening now, like every next scene, and on and on and on. I think that took away a lot from like the entire atmosphere and the suspense and everything too, because you're jumping back and forth like, oh, we're on the river. Oh, we're back at this guy's fucking house, with everybody. I wonder what happens now. And then like the whole ending of that flashback scene was very much like I was talking about taking the easy way out with the writing, making things convenient. That's what I was looking for. Making things convenient to progress the story. This movie did that in the dumbest, biggest way.
Yeah.
With that entire end of that whole like flashback part. I don't want to spoil it, but I hated that.
I did too. A lot of people were complaining about the ending. I liked the ending.
Yeah,
Because it's one, either that's the end, or two, oh great, we got another sequel coming up.
yeah,
Okay, let's see what happens next. Or they lived happily ever after. Or they eventually died and we just didn't see it. Either way, I'm fine.
yeah. That's kind of the only options. And a lot of movies have been taking that route of like, here's this entire story and we're going to give you hope, and then like the main character and everybody they love dies suddenly at the end or something.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't personally really like that, because if I'm invested already in some characters or whatever, then I want to see, something good happen, right? Even though it's a horror movie. And that's, well, I don't want to spoil it, but I also kind of liked the ending to this movie. I didn't really think that it was worth all the complaint.
No, it wasn't. I don't know what people are bitching about. That was a good ending to a horror drama.
Yeah. So that's what I think. I mean, I kind of want to say it's chopped, but at the same time, you should probably watch it. I mean, it's a decent enough flick.
I would say it's not chopped, but scoring this movie, 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I have to deduct at least a whole point myself just for the lack of real horror elements.
Yeah.
But I know that the intent was there. It is a horror movie by all accounts, but it is really more of like a soap opera drama.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah, so just approach it kind of knowing that. But,
I when we sat down and we watched it, what was it, last week we watched it? Or the week before?
I think it was the week before, yeah.
I was ready for like a horror movie. Like, yo, they can't look outside, otherwise this demonic presence fucking engulfs their soul and makes them descent into madness. Like, you know, like,
I mean, it is a cool premise, but I just, you know, I don't think that the movie format just really allows for that to be that great, because then you want to see what it is, you know? And when you do what this movie did with that, it just kind of falls flat to me, you know? It kind of seems like overly goofy in a movie that's supposed to be very serious. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. I mean, go check it out if you want a really emotional movie, you know, like character development, great. Cinematography, great. Score, meh. Acting, great. Sandra Bullock, still hot. I love Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Great acting by her. One of my favorite actresses. But yeah, that's all I got to say. 3.5 out of 5. Not chopped for me. And if you're looking for a good action thriller soap opera like The Walking Dead, then
yeah, go check it out. I mean, it is the hot, you know, horror movie, I guess, right now, apart from Escape Room. So
this movie's like 80% dialogue.
Yeah, it really is. It's just a lot of like people yelling at each other.
Yeah, and like your stereotypical struggles in an apocalyptic movie. No, we can't do that. You're being an asshole. I'm not being an asshole. I'm a realist. You're not a realist. Outsider comes in, ruins everything. God damn it. See, I told you, you idiots.
Yeah.
Oh no, now we gotta leave.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's pretty standard, but we still think it's worth a watch. So go check it out. Let us know what you guys think. You can give us your thoughts and comments on all our social media. We've got Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for Grave Discussions or Grave Disc SRD on Twitter. Or you can go check out our website, gravediscussions.net. Go check out our stuff. We're going to be resuming the weekly shows, and we hope that you all had a happy new year.
We'll see you next week on Grave Discussions. Evil!
This has been an SRD production.